I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the cowboy man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
His father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey Live. We are so happy to have you. I am Wayne, your host, joined as always by my partner in crime, the lovely, the talented Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am?
Nothing. I feel like I'm a little overdressed for this occasion.
I think I'm dressed perfectly.
I do love your yellow overalls. Now people know exactly what we talk about.
I still don't understand what all the fuss is about my yellow overalls. They're warm, they're comfortable, I think they're beautiful, they're attractive.
Hey, you do you, boo-boo. Oh, speaking of
Colonel Mustard, there you go.
Speaking of boo-boo, do it, please.
What?
Be-do, 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 be-do.
What is that?
The Minion?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Minions.
It's just simple. It's be-do, be-do, be-do.
Be-do, be-do, be-do. Like that?
Yep. Thanks.
Okay.
That's perfect.
I don't know. I wanted some insulated overalls, and I didn't want to be boring, like black or gray or brown. So they didn't have orange. I would have went with orange, hands down, because I'm a Vol. But, you went with yellow.
Hey, I think it's great. And you're comfortable?
Very. But they seem to be a crowd favorite, so I thought I would show everybody.
I think it's a perfect night for it.
All right. Yeah, speaking of a perfect night, tonight is going to either be awesome or a fucking disaster.
I think it'll be an awesome disaster if it's a disaster.
An awesome disaster. I'll go with that. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a disaster. It'll be fun.
Everybody out there in the community, the Bigfoot community, y'all have seen roundtables, paranormal, Bigfoot, just anything. Roundtables is you have a bunch of people like-minded come on, share their views on certain topics. So that's what we're doing. But I don't know of anyone that's ever done it with the listeners, with the followers of a certain show. You've always had like the experts, Bigfoot paranormal experts come on and share their views, but never the people in the background that show up, show
week
after
show,
week after week, just, giving their all and just being supportive of a show. I've never seen that before. So we have probably the best family
Oh,
in
100%.
paranormal, Bigfoot, podcast show, YouTube show. Our family, our group is amazing. We love each other. We support each other. And I don't know. I don't know whose idea it was to have all of
Chris's.
us. Who?
Chris's.
Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. You are awesome. To have all of us come on and do it. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You're not going to get a whole lot of me and Tiffany tonight because y'all get us all the time. I want to focus on our people.
Yeah.
So we have Chris and her husband Gary, Goonie Goo Goo, backstage. We got Troy Two Fingers, awesome Troy. We have Mr. Ristle backstage. We also have Stormy and Miss Naoma Finn, as well as your husband, Mr. Tiffany, who I think he's hiding.
He is. He's hiding. He's in here with me, but
yeah, he's in the room hiding somewhere. So there's going to be 9 of us tonight. Like I said, Tiffany and I, we're not going to be a real big part of the show because I want to hear what everyone else has to say, their opinions, because they're the ones that devote the time. They're the ones that they're just so supportive. They're always there. They're asking their questions and being informative and everything. And I want to dedicate tonight's show to them. I want to give them as much time as possible.
Yes, 100%.
You got anything you want to add to that before we start paying some bills?
I don't, but we have a chat room full of people, and I just want to say thank you for coming to show your support. I think that is super cool. There's some names in here I don't know, so thanks for coming in. Mm-hmm.
Well, for those people whose names that you don't know, I hope that before they leave, they will hit that subscribe button and help Tiffany and myself continue to grow the show.
And if any of you guys would like to be on with Wayne and myself, you can reach out to both of us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. We are looking for encounters. If you have any to send our way, you know about the change, we need your encounters. So just hit us up at these emails and we'll get back to you.
Paranormalworldproductions.com is our website. We invite everyone to head over there. Please do so. Check out the site. Check out all the other shows under the studio's umbrella. Pick you up some merch. Sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter. And all of that amazing, cool stuff. You have to head over to paranormalworldproductions.com to do so.
And as Wayne said, it's 9 of us. So if you have a question or if you have an opinion, any kind of input whatsoever, we would love to hear it. Just put it in all capital letters, just like any other show. I will highlight it and we will get to it. Just put it in all capital letters so I can see it, please.
Yes, that is very, very important. All right, Manimal Research is the foundation, the organization that I founded back in 2019. We have a new website that was built by one of our panel members tonight, Miss Chris Blaylock. She is the kind of the administrator of the website, keeping up with everything and keeping it new. But that website is manimalresearch.org. We are very proud of it. We are proud of what we do. We just got a new lead here in my home state of Tennessee, but in East Tennessee is where the lead come in. We're going to be going and checking that out here within the next couple of weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks. So we're excited about that. If you have had anything that you are concerned about on your property anywhere, it doesn't matter where, if we don't have members there, we will get you in touch with someone that can check out your property because we have connections everywhere. But if you think you're having Bigfoot on your property, if you're concerned, if you're worried, if you just want answers, please reach out to us. Manimalresearch.org. We have members in 6 or 7 states here in the Southeast. We're growing, continuing to grow. We have awesome members. We do group outings, just manimal only outings. We were supposed to go to the LBL last month to get rained out. We have postponed that. We're going to be going next month to the LBL. But that's the kind of stuff that we do all the time. If you're interested in that, becoming a member, or if you think you have something going on, please reach out to manimalresearch.org.
And as I say every week, our members are amazing, and our membership is always open. It's $1.99. This is what you see on YouTube as far as benefits. However, just like this evening, every single person you see has been a member of ours for a very long time. It's just $1.99 a month. I mean, we offer so many extra perks, like, look, the Bigfoot Roundtable, hanging out with us in Tennessee, Discord, movie nights. I mean, you name it. And it's just $1.99. So I really think you should take advantage of it.
I mean, in all honesty, you can't get a Coke. You can't get a 20-ounce Coke for $2. You can't anymore. So if you would rather give that to us one time a month, you get access to all of that extra stuff. We have so much fun. Our members only shows are so fun. We've never had anybody complain about them. No. So if you guys are interested, we would definitely appreciate that. We don't want to beg. I don't want to do that. But the last thing before we get to our panel is if you notice at the bottom, the Cash App and the Venmo are open. They're always open. We have started doing that because you guys were so awesome about helping us do the super stickers and all that stuff. But YouTube takes a pretty good size fee. Y'all have heard me before. I don't have a problem with YouTube. That's fine. You're in business to make money. That's fine. So YouTube takes their fees, and they make you wait a month before you get them. If you guys can help us out with the Cash App or the Venmo, we don't get hit with anywhere near the fees, and we get it right away. So that's just another option. If you'd rather stick with the super stickers, that's fine. But it's just another way of helping us out because everything costs money. Everything you're seeing tonight cost us money. Yep. So if you can help us out, we would greatly appreciate that.
100%.
All right. I feel like I've been talking for a minute. So Tiffany, tell everybody what we got lined up today. What are we doing?
Well, we have, and I'm so excited about it, we have a good group of our members in here with us, and we was talking about it in Discord last night, different theories, different things related to Bigfoot and the topic of Bigfoot and everything that comes up with this topic. And so last show, Chris was like, well, we should do a roundtable. And so we just kept talking about it, and here we are. And we're just a fine old bunch. We are.
So I think there's going to be a total of 9 of us?
It's 9 of us. Yeah, counting you and I. Mm-hmm.
And again, guys, this is the first time that we've ever done anything like this. It may be a bit chaotic, but we're going to do our best to handle it. Again, you're not going to hear as much from Tiffany and myself because y'all get us 2 or 3 times a week. So we're going to focus on our panel members tonight. I really want to hear their opinions on some of these topics. So bear with me, guys. It's going to take a second for me to get everyone out, but we're going to jump right in. As soon as we get out, I'm going to ask a question. They're going to go clockwise, answer it, and then Tiffany's going to ask a question. We're just going to keep going for an hour. All right, here we go, guys. Tiffany is going to have Mr. Tiffany in there. He can go ahead and jump out. We got Miss Chris Blaylock and her husband, Gary. We got our great buddy, Mr. Troy, who is sipping on that Wild Turkey 101. We got Rich Bristol down in Florida. Also in Florida, we got Miss Stormy. Thank you, ma'am. And a crowd favorite, Miss Naomi Finn. What are you doing, ma'am?
She's muted. There we go.
Hiding. I've been sitting here just trying to get dressed and put makeup on.
I'm so glad that you could hang out with us tonight. Most everyone else, they're listeners or followers of the show. You actually have a show. So you are the exception to the rule. We thank you.
That, honey.
we thank you. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us. So, like I said, I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to ask a question, and we're going to start with Mr. Tiffany, and we're going to go around the clock. We're going to go Tiffany, Chris, Gary, Stormy, Rich, Troy, and then we'll end with Naomi. The main question in Bigfoot, I'm not saving it for the end. I'm going to ask right now. What the hell is Bigfoot? We all believe they exist. What are they? Starting with you, Mr. Tiffany.
Well, it can go one of two ways. The two big theories out there, obviously, is flesh and blood, which I think is probably the most common thing, the most common belief that folks have. There's also the woo, and for those who don't know what the woo is, it's the supernatural kind of aspect of things with them. I can tell you that there's got to be something, whether it be portals or whether it be the cave system or a combination of both. We don't know what these things do. We don't know how they get around. How can a 8, 9, 10-foot creature that weighs multiple hundreds of pounds go someplace undetected, unheard, and virtually unseen without a bunch of folks seeing it? So, bears don't have that. Deer certainly don't have that. Other large animals, if you go to Africa, you look at the giraffes and you look at those types of folks, or those types of animals rather, they can't do that. So that makes the woo more plausible, and it's more supernatural that they go through portals and reappear. And of course, the intricate cave systems that we have, they could go and travel that way. So to me, either one's plausible, but my opinion is I wouldn't be surprised on either. We know this creature exists, we just don't know in what capacity.
Absolutely. I think you're exactly right. I've said it many times. When I got into the field, I was convinced that this was a biological creature. But the more I have talked to people like you guys, like all the people we've had on, I don't know. I mean, there are definitely some questions that need to be answered. All right, we're going to jump to Chris. Same question, ma'am.
I'm kind of like you. When I started out many, many moons ago researching him, I thought it was pure flesh and blood. But with all the different reports and more that I'm learning, because I'm actually back in school and taking some classes, metaphysics classes and things like that. They're teaching you that not our way we all were taught in school, that law of gravity was all there was. There's a lot more to it. Different type of string theories and things like that, to where there's possible 12 different dimensions along with ours.
Wow.
And so the more I think about it, the more I start going down the rabbit hole of, maybe sometimes these dimensions cross over, and that's how some things can come and go. I really still am kind of like 80% just flesh and blood, and I think he has different capabilities of, with his hair, the different follicles in his hair. Is he able to bend light with them? Is he able to just camouflage like a lot of animals are? And that's how, he's not seen as often.
Yeah. All right. Before we go on to Gary, let me ask everybody, if you're not talking, if you don't mind muting, your microphone so that we don't get the background noise and all of that. But yeah, I agree with you, Chris, and I think it's awesome. I do want to mention that real quick, Chris. You are back in school to get your PhD in cryptozoology, which I think is awesome. You are a member of Manimal Research. You are the administrator of our website. You are very fundamental in our organization. And once you get done, you will be the third PhD that we have as a member of Manimal Research. And I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
But the same question to Gary. What the hell is a Bigfoot, dude?
Well, I believe it's the dying species of an animal that was out a long time ago, and it was all over the place for the most part, and it's on extinction.
Okay. All right, very cool. We'll move on to Stormy. What do you think, ma'am?
Well, being the newbie of the group, I am still in the flesh and blood camp, but open-minded. Just listening to all the encounter stories I've heard, it's hard to stay 100% flesh and blood, but I still have a lot to learn, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't agree with you more, Stormy. I mean, there's so much. I started this like really looking into it in 2019, and I really think I have more questions now than I did then. You know, it's crazy. But moving on, Rustle, what you think, buddy?
I'm flesh and blood as well.
Yeah.
I don't discount the woo. I mean, back in the day, magic turned out to be science that just hadn't been discovered yet. So
Yeah.
Who's to say? I think it's, more of on the lines of a relic hominin. With the native traditions going back so far, they were here before the Native Americans were here in a lot of cultures. So I tend to believe that it's just a scattered at one time peoples, maybe. I don't know, but it's fun trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And again, none of us know. So, I mean, there's no wrong answers to this question, but we're going to move on to T. Roy. What you think, buddy? You're muted. You're muted, bud.
Sorry, dude. I was following instructions and forgot to hit the button. I may be the only person in the group that is in both camps at the same time.
Yeah.
I believe that there's a biblical aspect to Sasquatch. I don't have any proof. I've never had a sighting, but I believe that they are both flesh and blood and spiritual, and they have gifts from distant relatives, I guess we could say. I believe it may be possible that they are a remnant of the Nephilim.
Really? I was wondering if anybody on the panel was going to go with that tonight.
I know that's a very controversial outlook, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I lean.
All right. And we will end it up with the fabulous and amazing Miss Naoma Finn.
I would say anything size 13 or larger.
That's why I love you. God, I love you, ma'am.
I think Bigfoot is something that stepped out of the woods and changed my life forever.
Yeah.
And that's as much as I know about it.
So I know you. I've known you for quite a while, Naomi. You and I go way back. I consider you a very, very close friend.
I consider you one of my kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I've told you that you remind me of my mother. Is why I think I'm so close to you. And I've heard a lot of your opinions, your stories, and we don't always see eye to eye on everything. Like, yeah, we'll save it. I'll get to that in a minute. But Naomi, I know you just gave us your answer, but do you have a gut feeling? Like, is this a flesh and blood creature, or do you think there's some kind of supernatural to it?
Well, I have to temper my answer by saying that I'm a born again Christian.
Yeah.
And so I look to God for my answers for just about everything. And as such, I can see the biblical aspect. And if there is a paranormal, as in outside of the normal ability of these things, I would think it would come from the Bible. I've always been a flesh and blood person. And that's because in my experience with what I had, and that's all I have to go on. It's been 41 years since the night that I first experienced this thing.
Yeah.
40 years since I actually, if only briefly, actually got a glimpse of it. And I've been in the woods many, many times for decades. I just would wander out in the woods by myself because I needed to see again. And that's the bizarre thing about about Bigfoot is once you've seen it, you either have to assume you've lost your mind or you have to go out in the woods and prove you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
And I've been out in the woods looking ever since. I need so much before I die to see another one, just so that I know I was not crazy the night that I saw what I saw. But I have never had any. There have been some close calls last spring. I'm sure Roger has made references to it from Squatch and Holler before. We were camped out at LBL. Was that last spring? I think it was. And I was sleeping in the back of I don't camp on the ground. I glamp if I can. If I can find a close hotel room, I'll go there for the night and I'll come see you in the morning just to have my coffee ready. But I happened to be sleeping in the back of my SUV, which is a little Escape. And I was between Roger and his wife. They were in a tent on my driver's side. And on my passenger side was Cameron Buckner's truck, and then his tent was on the other side of his truck. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard this. I thought it was somebody walking around my vehicle to go into the woods to go to the bathroom. And the evil imp in me was tempted to reach over I was laying in the back and reach over to the driver's seat and turn the lights on. God, I wish I'd done that. But I thought, I'm not going to bother them. They're trying to be really quiet. Well, the next morning, it turns out that, what I thought was somebody going to the bathroom was something very, very different. And if I'd opened my eyes and actually looked, I probably would have got what I need.
Yeah.
Which is, I need to see one more. I need to see one more. Now, if when I see it, it pops out of a portal, I'm going to jump up and down and scream, hey, they're paranormal. They're totally paranormal. I might even say, hey, they're alien. But if it doesn't, I can't go there because I have to have evidence. I have to have my visual proof to call them anything but flesh and blood. So that's the best answer I can give you.
Yeah. And I think that's very fair. All right. Tiffany, you're muted. Go ahead and tell you.
I'm a little bit more professional. I've done this for a couple years now.
What what would you like to hear from our panel, starting with your hubby?
I am interested, and this came off of the other show we did with Craig and Paul, about the cave systems and how they traverse in and out. Is there an opening to every cave that they get in and out of? Is that why it looks like they just cloak and disappear? Is it really a cave?
Okay, so do they use cave systems, basically?
To get around, yeah, pretty much, basically.
Great. Awesome question.
I do believe that is 100% plausible. If you think about it, we have several different, what they call, fairly close to us, we have the Dixie Caverns and we have the Luray Caverns, different places like that go deep into the earth, and beautiful places and very dark and damp, very secluded in places. So yeah, it's 100% possible, especially with them being flesh and blood, that they will have some kind of system they traverse. Also, we were talking the other night about how, the tornadoes, everybody's experiencing the tornadoes and the crazy, wacky weather that we've had. Well, where do the Bigfoot go during these wacky weather type of things? Well, I don't believe that they just hunker down below a tree or anything like that. They have to go somewhere, and it would make sense that they escape into a cave or into some type of cavern or something like that. I'm not crazy enough to go chase them down because, I'm sorry, I'm 6'1", 280. I am no match whatsoever for one of these things. As 8, 9, 10 foot tall. I don't want to try. I would prefer not to come face to face with one or anything like that. And I would feel that if I came upon a family of Bigfoot inside of a cavern, I would probably be a gone guy. They would unalive me pretty quick, like anything else would protecting their children. We don't know whether they're scared of us. We don't know whether they're more intelligent than us. We don't know what they think, how they think, or anything like that. So I'm not going to be the guy I don't want to be that guy that finds out. So it's very plausible, like harsh weather events and harsh cold or harsh heat or anything like that they have to have somewhere to go to shelter. It would only make sense to be a cave or a cavern type of system.
Okay, Tiffany, keep it going.
I'm sorry, I was distracted. Keep going with
Chris.
Really, Chris. Yes, Chris.
I do believe where cave systems, are available. That was Gary, not me.
Wow.
Where cave systems are available, that they do use them. I'm like 30 minutes away from Mammoth Cave. Numerous sightings there, a ton of evidence found. I'm actually going there in a couple of weeks to do a little bit of exploring. So I do think that's absolutely possible that they do use those systems when it's available to them. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. The Mammoth Cave system is the largest cave system that we have, and it's untelling what we haven't even explored, how far it actually goes. So I think it's very possible.
So, Chris, you guys live pretty close to Mammoth Cave?
Yeah.
And that's one of the places I want to visit. So, you guys have invited me up. I'm going to take you up on that at some point, and I want to go and visit that because I myself, I really believe that they utilize cave systems. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So it sounds like Gary is on another call, so we're going to skip and go straight to Stormy. What do you think, ma'am?
I think they do use cave systems. We have a small cave system here in the Panhandle, and the sightings that we have had in our area from the little bit of research I've done have all been near the river or the cave system. So I think it's totally plausible. I mean, why wouldn't they take shelter if it was available to them? And we also have a lot of Native American artifacts, mounds that have been found near the cave system, near the river. And there's documented history of, Native Americans interacting with them. So I think it's totally plausible.
How about you, Ristal? What do you
Yeah, I agree with that. you know, most down here in Florida, there are lots of caves, limestone caves. If there are caves available to them, I don't see why they wouldn't, you know, take advantage of that resource. Um, sure.
Yeah, and before we move on to Troy, I want to touch on a little bit. I've always felt like caves would explain so much, but when I first got into this, I'm not going to mention names, but I had this kind of mentor, and I talked to him. I really valued his opinion and everything. And the very first interview I ever gave was for Bigfoot Odyssey on, the late Kerry Arnold. He reached out to us and asked us to come on. And one of the questions that come up was cave systems, and I was for it. I thought that they do utilize cave systems, but this gentleman that I really really looked up to contacted me and said, "I think you did a great job. I don't agree. The only thing I don't agree with you about is the caves. I mean, they've been so elusive for all these years, staying away from people. Why would they put themselves in a position where they could be cornered?" So, I mean, I understand that, but my thinking is they know those caves better than anybody else. They're not going to put themselves in a position where they could be cornered. They have exit strategies and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just what my thinking was. So, who was next? Bristol?
That would be me.
Okay, Troy.
A lot of people aren't aware Tennessee has one of the, if not the largest cave system throughout the United States. You don't hear a lot of reports in Tennessee. LBL is a peninsula of land that at one time was all dry. It's now been flooded on 3 sides. It's a peninsula, but there are, my understanding, cave systems in LBL. Not only cave systems, but there are old water systems that were large enough. We're talking a 6 foot across pipe underground that run for miles. And if these things, if they exist, I have not confirmed that they have, but I've been told. I'm looking for them currently. If they exist, why wouldn't something, whether it be a coyote or a wolf or a Bigfoot or a Dogman, why would they not utilize something like that unless they had to worry about water runoff, which in cave systems is often a concern. Caves typically are formed by water runoff. So I could see them staying for a period of time during a dry season. I could see them staying there. But during a really wet season, I believe that would be an issue. That's just my personal experience. From my personal experience, I've slept in caves overnight. I've been in probably pretty much, I'd say, half the caves in Tennessee. As a scoutmaster, we used to do a lot of spelunking. Like I say, I've slept in caves. I've slept in caves with underground rivers and underground lakes. I know the resources that are available there. Could a Sasquatch live there? No. Could they survive there? Yes. Just my opinion.
Okay. And I think that's awesome. Stormy, what you got, ma'am?
We're trying.
I already had my turn. It's Naoma's turn.
Okay.
You already had your turn on the caves? Okay, well, I'm sorry. What about Bristol? Have you had yours?
No, I think it's my turn.
Okay,
it is Naoma's turn. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna give you 2 examples of why I think they use the cave system. The first one is the Valley of Headless Men. Everybody knows that story, right? It's not
Yes.
uncommon. It's up in Canada. It's the Nahini Valley. They call it the Valley of Headless Men because men have been found decapitated there. People go disappearing there. There's an old, before Europeans came to this country, Native American legend about that area, that there was a group of people. There were 2 different tribes of people, and they hated each other. The one was a very peaceful, calm, and quiet tribe. The other one was very warring, and they were always coming down and they were always attacking the peaceful tribe. And finally, the peaceful tribe had had enough, and they decided they were going to go up go down into the valley, over the mountain and into the Nahini Valley, and they were going to face their tormentors, and they were going to fight them, and they were going to get rid of them. So they cross over into the valley. They get to where their tormentors live, and they are gone. I mean, just gone. Their camps have completely there's nothing. They're gone. Now, there's a rumor, and actually it's now pretty much been mapped out. It's not so much a rumor anymore. The cave system clear up in that part of Canada, and it's in northwest Canada, actually honeycombs all the way down through the United States and under the United States. It probably hooks in with mammoth caves, of which I think we've only maybe mapped out like 40% or 60%. It probably hooks in with them. The entire North American continent is really it's a honeycomb of one big cave system. It's huge. And yeah, Troy's right. And Tennessee has the most mapped out caves, the most what's the word I'm looking for? Identified caves of all the states, but all of those caves are honeycombed with, especially Mammoth Caves, which is the biggest one. Which, by the way, Chris, I'm actually even closer to Mammoth Caves than you are. So if you go there, you have to swing by and pick me up, because I'm right down 65. I'm literally, as you cross into Tennessee, I'm just west of Interstate 65. So just give me a call. Anyway, this is my proof, or this is my argument. Whatever it is, and a lot of people say that it was Bigfoot, but the Dene people were the people that just vanished. The Navajo people, their name for themselves is the Dene people. And for them to have left the valley the way they did, because there's only certain ways in and certain ways out, even on foot, it's a very remote area. They would had to have either passed the people who were coming to fight them, or they would had to have gone another way. And so I believe that the caves are there, and that they've been used as a form of travel by both humans and animals for millennia. My second part of that is, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the Werewolf Springs at Montgomery Bell State Park in Tennessee. It's one of the very first stories I ever did. It's the one that most people always want me to tell, because I do that one better than I do the rest. Joe Pat, no, there really were not a lot of caves near my first sighting. There are the Maquoketa caves, but they're really, my sighting happened in a very marshy area, right on the Mississippi River. Okay, but anyway, back to what I was saying. The werewolf of Werewolf Springs, now that's a Dogman story. I've always told it as a Dogman, but it may very well have been a Bigfoot. If you subscribe to Wayne's theory, it probably was a Bigfoot. And we will get into that. We will. But anyway, one of the things that I always end the story with is the fact that they can justify a lot of things that happened in that area. And there's 3 lakes in Montgomery Bell State Park. And along one of those lakes is a bluff, and there are caves in that bluff. And farmers, before it became a park, used to take their livestock up and put them in those caves so that they would rot without, stinking up the whole area or whatever. So finding the animal bones in those caves made sense. But they found human bones in those caves too. And if you subscribe to the fact that Bigfoot may be aggressive towards humans, if you subscribe to the fact that it may actually eat humans, and if you subscribe to the fact that the werewolf of Werewolf Springs is a Bigfoot, then that would be more proof that they use caves. I think as the other thing I would say to the person who disagreed with you, Wayne, is this. If they know the caves, they're not going to get cornered. And those caves are a honeycomb. They can go on forever and ever and ever. They have 1,000,001 turns. Not every cave is just an alcove. And I don't think a Bigfoot would use an alcove except maybe to hide, get out from under the rain. If they're going to use them for travel and living, they're going to use the ones that go way deeper than we would ever chase them to be cornered. So that's my argument.
I couldn't agree with you more, Naomi. That's always been my thought. And as much as I respected this person, I still respect him. I think he does an amazing job. That's the one thing that I will argue with him. I think for there to be an existence of 8, 9, 10 foot tall, hairy beings, they have to have a way of staying hidden. And what's the best way? Caves, in my opinion. And changing the subject a little bit, guys. Oh God, we're already like 48 minutes in. It sucks. We're gonna have to do a follow-up, and it's gonna have to be on a Saturday night when there are no time restrictions or anything like that. So look for that. But that being said, the last 10, 15 minutes or so, we are going to spend with my last question. What is it going to take? Obviously, photos and pictures aren't enough to prove the existence. Other than a body, is there any way of proving the existence of Sasquatch? Start with you, Mr. T.
I don't believe so. That's the age-old question. We have the pictures, starting with Patty, going up. We have fake ones. We have ones that tend to be real. Problem is we see a picture of a Sasquatch or someone who claims that there's a picture of a Sasquatch. I don't know about you guys, but I automatically look at it as skepticism. If I start seeing things that I start to believe, then I show my wife, and then we go to other members, respected people that we respect, honest folks in the Bigfoot community, to just kind of see what it is. As far as proving them beyond the shadow of a doubt to where every waking, living, breathing human being believes the existence of Sasquatch, I do believe it's going to take a body. I don't even think at this point in time a photograph, because it's been folklore. I was watching an old WWE video the other day, and The Rock was doing a heel character, and he was saying, some of you idiots think the Bigfoot actually exists, and and then goes on. So people make a joke out of it, and then that's why so many folks are scared to come forward, because nobody is going to believe them. People are going to think they're crazy. People are going to think they saw something. And how many actual encounters are there out there that exist that no one will not come forward because they're afraid they're going to be ridiculed. So if you were to take all of that and put it together with the similarities, it's got to be. I don't see how people can say it doesn't exist at this point, regardless of whether we have a body or we don't have a body. There's just so much. Wayne, I think you said that if we were to take it to court, there would be enough circumstantial evidence to convict. I believe you said that not too long ago.
Yeah.
Right. And so I believe that to be the case as well. But, unfortunately, I believe without a body and without someone seeing it with their own two eyes, I don't know what it's going to take.
Yeah. Very, very good response. All right, Chris and Goonie, what do you guys think?
I think it's going to take a body, unfortunately, as well. There's I think that's the only way you're going to get the science community where they can actually dissect the body. The only way they're going to believe that he's actually real, because there's, especially now with AI and everything else, there's just so much that can be faked. And like Zach said, I tend to, like, when I see something, say, oh, is that real or is that AI? I think we all question that anymore. So I think until there's an actual body where science can, figure it out, even though we have hair samples, even though we have eDNA and everything else, that they don't have nothing really to compare it with. It just always comes up unknown. So until there's an actual body, then I don't think science will believe it.
I think you're right. Goonie, you got anything to add?
No, other than like what she just said, unless you see a body, 90% of the population is not going to believe it.
You're right.
But as for the cave thing too, there's so many different things about the cave. I never got to speak on the cave, but the cave system idea is they might go in it for shelter. That's what I thought. But as for traveling, I don't see them using it as a highway. As when I lived in Washington State, I did the Cascades, did Mount Rainier, St. Helens, Hood. With all my scouts, we'd hike out 2 weeks at a time, spelunking, going finding caves. We came across B-17 wreckage. We'd come across all sorts of stuff out there in the woods and in the caves. And yet there was never any scat of out of the ordinary, no matter how deep we went in some of the caves that we stayed overnight in. And then let alone if you go in those caves, let's say you're a young Bigfoot or whatever, and you're on your own, and you go into some of them caves, you're not coming back out unless you know exactly which way you're going. And being as dark as it is, some of them caves we went into had 100-foot drops inside of them.
Yeah. Well, Gary, above anything else, I want to touch on how sexy your hat is.
You like that?
Yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful hat.
It's gorgeous. That's good marketing too, by the way.
All right, let's since there's been some adjusting, Naoma looks like she's next, so let's jump to her.
I totally forgot the question.
Is it going to take a body? Is there any other way to prove it?
I think if you could, get one drunk and have him walk into town, that would work. You wouldn't have to kill him or anything.
There you go.
You just got to romance him into. I know this is so bad, and I hope this doesn't get you demonetized, but if Bigfoot comes walking at me looking like he wants to have a good time with that love light in his eye, I'm going to do everything in my power to prove to him that I'm a man, because I would rather, like any other woman, be eaten than screwed.
I love you, Naoma.
That's why I love you, ma'am. You're not going to.
I think if you could capture one, would be the best way to go.
But you're not going to take one for the team to get that specimen.
I am not going to take one for the team for any of that. No.
Wayne, would you take one for the team?
No.
Come
I will
on.
bring you along with
no.
me and I will outrun you, Wayne.
I think you would, ma'am.
He might think you're pretty sexy, Wayne, with your yellow overalls.
Oh my God. Okay, Rich, Rista, what do you think, buddy?
I think Tiffany nailed it. I mean, you may not want to take one for the team, but those overalls say you will.
They do? What do y'all have with yellow? What's the problem with yellow, y'all?
Well, it's not the color, man. It's not the color.
No,
It's
it's
the
the
attitude.
it's the color. Yellow is the color of cowards. I'm sorry.
Brother, I love them. I love them. I love them.
I ain't afraid.
Zach's going to get a pair for Gatlinburg.
That's right.
Is that why you wouldn't wake up when you heard something in her tent out there in LBL?
I haven't always worn the overalls, y'all. Okay, shut up. Everyone, shut the fuck up.
Anyway, I mean, for science, it is alive or dead. It's going to take a body.
I think so too. I agree with you.
You know, as far as within the community, most who are active in the community know who is trustworthy and who is not. So, in situations like that, video, photos, I think will work for the most part. But as
I think we need a protocol. I think we need that protocol. Everyone does to what you do if you were to happen across a dead body.
Definitely.
So what do you do? What do you think, Bristol?
Yeah, you definitely need to have someone to contact. And I know who I would contact, but I'm not going to say it because they're probably already on a list. But just in case, actually, you need more than one person. You need to reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Troy, what do you think, buddy?
I think everybody should have a friend that has a reefer unit.
Has a what?
A reefer unit. It's called that's what truck drivers call a refrigerated unit.
Oh, that's something like a reefer.
I know where Chris was going.
Hey, I'm not puff pass, but
puff give.
But no, seriously, everybody should have contact with someone that has access to a reefer unit. Everybody within a state, somebody needs to have that friend. I have a couple of friends. My brother-in-law works out of Alabama. He runs a truck. He helps. What's the word I want to say? Coordinate the logistics of the trucking company, and they run several reefer units. If something like this were to come up where I were to find a body, I'm calling my brother-in-law. I'm also calling my Jeep buddies, because with all of our winches, with the reeper unit, with all of our snatch blocks, I'm going to find a way to put this whole fucking body in the back of a refrigerated truck. And I'm talking, when I say refrigerated, it's cold enough to keep this thing frozen.
Yeah, but what hypothetically, what if you can't, Troy? What if you can only take you got 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes. What do you do?
I'm cutting the head off, I'm cutting hands off, and I'm cutting feet off.
There you go.
I honestly, I always have a Sawzall in my Jeep. It's a battery operated Sawzall with about a 10-inch blade. I will take body parts.
Yeah, something's better than nothing.
I mean, because I want to prove that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Yeti, whatever, swamp ape, whatever you want to. I want to prove that it is real. I don't want to be the guy that goes out and kills one.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that sits down and smokes a bowl with one. But if I get him stoned enough that I can cut his head off, that's all the much better.
All right, we're gonna cut you off right there, man. Let's go, Stormy. Stormy, what you got, ma'am?
Unfortunately, I do agree that it is going to take a body. There's been so many hoaxers over the years with footprints and fake pictures and red circles, and that's been discussed to death. But it's going to take a body, and I agree with what you've always said, Wayne. I would not be the one to take the body. I don't think, I mean, I've been a hunter most of my life, but I don't think I could be the one to take one down.
Yeah.
But it's going to take that, and it's sad, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to take someone like any one of us finding or killing
In yellow overalls.
preferably finding one and doing the right, going through the right steps to
and blowing kisses at it.
Yeah, blowing kisses at it to get recognized. I mean, I don't know. One thing that I've learned from tonight is we need more fucking time.
We do. We do.
So we are going to do a follow-up with everyone that's on this panel tonight. We're going to do it on a Saturday night where we can go 2, 3, 4 hours because we didn't get into anything that I wanted to get into. But we are we're over an hour right now, and sadly, I've got to end the show. I'm sorry. Yeah. So everyone that's on here, please, we are going to get with you about a follow-up show. Please be available. It will be on a Saturday night, so we won't be hampered with time. And we're going to continue this because I think this is awesome. This was very, very fun.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of people in the chat that are really having a good time. And as much shit as we have given you about those overalls, we really do love them. And a little twisted wants to know if it has a butt flap.
Oh, no, it don't. I was gonna say it does, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't.
You want to know what I find so entertaining about those overalls?
What, ma'am?
I'll tell you one of my kids, and I literally used to dress my sons in overalls, just like those. You really are my kid.
Woohoo!
Woo! I do that, but the show get canceled.
Going to that show, okay.
Save it for Saturday, guys.
Yeah, we'll save it for Saturday. But in the future, guys, there's going to be a Saturday show where we have everyone on here. Hopefully, that's on here can come back because we got a lot more shit to get into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
sure.
right, to our panel, guys. Thank you so very much. I'm gonna start taking you off so that Tiffany and I can end the show. But thank you guys very much, and just know you will be back, and we will continue this.
Yes,
Thank you
100%.
for having me.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I love you, and we will get back with you very shortly.
As he slowly just moves off screen.
That was so much fun.
I just love it.
We only got to 3 questions, though.
Yeah, we really do.
Sucks.
Yeah,
we got to have a night that we can devote a lot of time to, and we're going to come back and do this again, and it's going to be great.
Yes, and we need to have everybody in the chat that was in there tonight because then we can get to, all the comments and things that were put up there, and yeah, we need to do it on a Saturday for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, everyone out there, thank you so very much for hanging out with us. All of the comments and all of that great stuff. We look forward to doing it again. You got anything, ma'am?
Nope. Just come back and see us this Saturday night on April 5th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. We will have Daniel Hamilton with the Cryptid podcast back on with us. So come back for that.
All right. We'll see you then. Guys, until then, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.